Following my top 50 video a few days ago, which was Star Trek The Next Generation, somebody said to me, what's your next game going to be? And I was going through the list. I thought, well, maybe Aerosmith, and I was talking through a few. And somebody said, well, you should do a spooky game because your list is very Stern heavy. There's some Williams on there, there's some Bally games, one CGC. And I thought about it, I thought, you know what, they're absolutely right, because I've had 4 spooky games through this house, which is the criteria for being on the board. I had to have the game in this house, which is TNA, which is Scooby-Doo, Looney Tunes, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I thought, you know what, I probably do need to work on getting some spookies on here and some JJPs to really populate the list and get a bit of variety on this. That's exactly what we're going to do. I thought it was a great suggestion. So today it's going to be TNA, Total Nuclear Annihilation, which I think is a great place to start. And a great game. I'm not going to spend ages recounting the rules. I spent far too much time doing that in all the previous videos. Suffice to say that this is, I think it's number 17 or 18 in a series. So if you're wondering why Ghostbusters is near the bottom, if you're wondering why Sopranos is there, if you're wondering why Fishtails is mixing it amongst the very top games, you're probably going to have to go back to the previous videos. And I'd probably suggest starting with video number 1. But I'm going to work to get this more populated and more quickly now. So I'm going to try and do a few quick fire videos because I've been really interested to see your guys' feedback, because some of you seem genuinely keen to know where certain things are going to go on the list. So I thought, you know what, let's just try and populate it as quickly as possible. This is my list. It's not the Pinside Top 100. I'm going to be ranking things and rating things for things like, are they fun? Is the game approachable? Does it have charm and personality? Is it addictive? Is it rewarding? Is it frustrating? Are the goals achievable? I'm gonna rate the rules how I like them. I struggle with a very complex rule set. So if you've got an easy to understand rule set, then you're going to rank far more highly on the board than something that's really complicated, perhaps like Avengers Infinity Quest, which I've actually owned it twice and I still don't understand what the bloody hell is going on. And also, we're going to be asking the question, do I miss it? Which is a strange one for TNA because it's only really been gone a month? Probably less than a month. But we'll explain why this, I think, is the finest two-player game that is around at the moment, and an absolutely magnificent, it's a stroke of genius, really. Spooky Pinball. I often talk about Pulp Fiction, that Pulp Fiction was a brave game to do. And let me just explain what I mean by that. I certainly got the feeling when Jersey Jack produced The Wizard of Oz, and they produced this magnificent world under glass with this big screen, that maybe Stern took a look at that and thought, well, we need to do something like that. So Stern started producing their Spike 2s, which had an LCD screen, and it just seemed like that was the way pinball was going. You pretty much had to have a big screen on there. Now, I said that I thought that CGC were brave for doing a retro game with Pulp Fiction. They've done away with the screen altogether, and I stick by that. And I think they've been rewarded for doing that, because Pulp Fiction I'm hopefully getting one next month. I've already had it in here. It probably already qualifies for the list, but we'll do that in good time. I still think it was brave to move away from the screen and do something differently. But realistically, I think the real innovators here were Spooky by doing TNA. Not that it doesn't have a screen, it does, but it doesn't need one. In fact, you could argue it's got 2 screens, although the thing on the little upper section is not really a screen, it's just an alphanumeric display. Total Nuclear Annihilation does not need a screen at all. The alphanumeric display on it would have been enough, and the fact that you have 4 scores up on the board, up on the back glass is absolutely fine. But you know what? It still has a really good screen, and it has an excellent and addictive music score. But we'll get to that in just a second. So firstly, is the game fun? Well, you bet it is. This is a really fun game. It's fun, it's fast, it's frenetic. And I think the first time I played it, I thought, well, this is like anything else I'd ever played. It was a throwback to maybe things like Dolly Parton over there in terms of it was single layer. It was simple, very simple rule set. Very few shots on it, really. But it was faster. It was faster than those old Sterns, those old 1981 Ballys, those old games that were on a single level and could be brutal. That's brutal. You could come over to my house and play that game, and don't be surprised if your first ball lasts 10 seconds if you're lucky. Those games can be over really quickly, but there's something different. There's a speed, there's a pace, there's an intensity to Total Nuclear Annihilation, which means you can't take your eyes off the ball at all. And in fact, in many respects, it's pointless that it's got a screen because there's no time to look at that thing. No time at all. Even the amount of time it gives you after you've locked a ball to ball launch afterwards, you've got to be really quick to do a soft plunge, which is probably what you want to do to put it up into that top section. It's incredibly fun. And I would go as far as to say, in terms of the next thing that I would rate it for, in terms of addictiveness, it's one of the most addictive pinball machines ever made. The difficulty level is that perfect balance, which we speak about so often when I speak about Attack from Mars on here, where it offers you enough progress, whoops your ass, but then has showed you enough to encourage you to press that start button again. So in case you don't know, I think there's 9 reactors on the playfield, and realistically, what you have to do is you basically start by trying to blow up a reactor. There's some targets at the very start of the playfield. You have to hit those targets. That will light a scoop shot, and then you hit the ball into the scoop shot. You then have to destroy the reactor. You destroy the reactor by hitting the upper part of the playfield. And I think you either score up to 100 or it goes down from 100 to 0. Can't remember which way. One of the two, I should know, really. Then after that, it will give you one final shot to destroy the reactor. It could be a pop bumper. It could be one of the targets. It will flash red and you're asked to destroy it. The rules really couldn't be simpler. You can do that, and then that's reactor 1 destroyed. You can see immediately what the game wants you to do, destroy all the reactors. And I think my point is, with being addictive, you might have a bad game and destroy one reactor, but you still want to press that button and destroy another one the next time. You might have a really good game and destroy 3 reactors. And that offers you enough encouragement to think, wow, I'm going to press that start button again, because these are generally very short games on Total Nuclear Annihilation. And it will offer you that encouragement. You'll play again and you'll keep playing again. And even if the game annoys you, because one of the questions that I always ask is it rewarding or is it frustrating? It's almost like I separate, almost like it's one or the other. What's the game? Is Cactus Canyon rewarding? Yes. Is it frustrating? No. TNA, Total Nuclear Annihilation, is rewarding and frustrating. So it's a bit of a paradox, a bit of a contradiction there, really, in that sense. And it just keeps whooping your ass, but giving you enough encouragement to let you come back. Asked if it has charm and personality. I wouldn't say it's got charm. It just wants to beat you. It's nasty. It's horrible, actually. But in a really, really good way. So it does have a personality because it's so different to pretty much anything else you're going to play. And pretty much anything else that Spooky have done. In fact, you could probably line up a number of Spooky games and testament to them, because they've doubled up on some. So you have the Ultraman and the Halloween, and also the Looney Tunes and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are the same layouts inherently. They're the same game. But to give full credit to Spooky, I think if you lined up all their releases, and I've never played a Rick and Morty, so I wouldn't know, but I know what it looks like. I don't think I've ever seen one in the flesh, but I can picture it. I've seen video footage of it. If you lined all their games up, they do look quite different. The TNA looks nothing like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo looks nothing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and on it goes. I'm sure they have one or two which look similar, but you wouldn't say if you put all Spooky games in a line, they all look the same. It's a very, very different game, TNA. So does it have personality, loads of it? Charm? No, none. No charm at all. Toys? None. No toys. But you wouldn't call it a barren playfield. It's weird. Again, it's an anomaly. No ramps, no toys. but it still feels like there's stuff going on the playfield. There's one small upper flipper, and there's an upper section of the playfield that it takes quite a lot of skill to keep it up there. There are slingshots where it sort of ricochets around up the top, but some really beautiful orbits, which takes you onto the shots. The orbits are really nice to hit. The scoop is hittable. The targets are hittable. The ball lock is hittable. You can backhand the ball lock. The ball lock is stand-up targets. It's addictive. Sometimes the old stuff is the best. And I'm a fan of old layouts and innovation. So recently we've spoken about the Uncanny X-Men quite a lot. Wonderful innovation, beautiful new ideas, new shots, ball paths that go everywhere. And that's great, and I would encourage that. But the old stuff is still good. A stand-up target that you lock the ball behind is still good. A spinner is still good. Remember, ripping the spinner on Elton John was really, really satisfying, actually. Ripping the spinner on Dolly Parton, pardon the expression, is very, very satisfying for myself and for Dolly, of course. So I think that the ball lock mechanism is wonderful, and just the way they all drop down, and immediately they drop down into danger, could drop down to the pop bumper or into those slingshots, and the game becomes fast and intense and crazy. It's a special game, no doubt about it. Is it approachable? Yeah, it's incredibly approachable, because I think immediately it looks so different. It's got a big flashing light on the top as well. I don't know if that makes you approach or makes you think that the game's going to arrest you. Whatever. It's approachable. And from the moment you start playing it, you are aware that you are in for quite an experience. And a different experience to what anything else is going to offer you, that's for sure. The music plays a big part in it. The call-outs are great. It's unique. It's just very, very unique. And I understand that there's a lot of people know a lot more about this game than me, about how it was designed, who designed it, who did the music. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. That there will be better videos and better people to talk about that stuff than me. But that lack of inside knowledge, what that does enable me to do is tell you how approachable it is from somebody that understands nothing about it. And I remember the first time I saw it was in Pinball Republic, as it's now called, which is now moved actually. So it's now moved into Croydon. We're gonna go up there soon, and we're gonna take a look at Pinball Republic. Absolutely, I've seen it. It looks absolute. I've seen it. I've seen videos of it. So James produced a video on it. Majestic Pinball. Looks amazing. Looks incredible. Can't wait to go up there actually. But the first time I played it was in the old Pinball Republic. Flip out, and it just stood out. It stood out as this game that just looked different. It was very approachable. I remember going there with Spencer, and Spencer just wanted to play TNA all the time. Fantastic. The shots I've already discussed. The rules I've pretty much discussed. They are easy. I'd be repeating myself to talk about them again. Is it achievable? No. It's really hard. I can't imagine I would ever, on my own, complete all 9 reactors. But that's fine, because there's a way that you still can do it. Because whilst it's often spoken about that somebody can steal your multi-ball. So let's say, for instance, you managed to lock 2 balls in a multi-ball and then lost your ball. Your opponent, this is what my son would do all the time, would come along and he could just lock one and he could steal your multi-balls. And it was, quite frustrating, actually. A lot is made of that, but there's something else which I didn't know was a feature when I got Total Nuclear Annihilation, and that was co-op mode. So what you can do is, yes, you can play as a normal 2-player game against each other, or 3-player game, 4-player game, or you can go in co-op mode, which is amazing. We're basically together as a team. You can try and knock out the 9 reactors. It has a totally different scoreboard, but you basically take it one ball in turn. There's a few different features on there of things you can do. And this was great. It was great for teamwork, because when my son wasn't whooping my arse at TNA, we'd play this co-op mode. And I can't remember. I honestly, off the top of my head, I can't remember what we got to, but it was a lot further than I was able to do individually. I think we got to 5, 6 or 7, something like that. Certainly enough encouragement to think, well, okay, if we carry on playing this one day, between the two of us, we could get to perhaps Reactor 9. So, is it achievable? Yes. Is it achievable? No. And that, I think that really emphasises what I'm saying about total nuclear annihilation. It is a contradiction. It is a contradiction. It's disgusting, but wonderful at the same time. It's tough, but it's achievable. It's different, but it's familiar. You have to say that whatever they hit on with this game, they absolutely they found the right balance in it, because it offers up enough of both things, I think, to keep a lot of people interested. Last thing, do I miss it? Basically, do I regret it leaving? Well, to be fair, it only left a month ago. So normally I would wait a long time. There's been games that I haven't had for 4 years that I haven't even done a video, so I've not populated this list yet. So I probably would have left TNA and done the video later on in the year or next year or something. But as somebody said, come on, let's have some spookies, let's have some JJPs on here. I thought it was right to do it. I miss the doubles games with my son. That's what I miss, I think, as much as anything. That co-op mode. We can play doubles. We can play doubles on, any number of the other games that might be here. But it's something. It's a feature. I'd love to have that feature on Deadpool. Maybe Deadpool's a little bit too easy, possibly. But I think if maybe a 2-ball co-op mode where you each get 2 balls or something like that. And then maybe we could get to Mr. Sinister. It's just a feature that I'd really like to see on more games, which would probably help you explore the game. And I think that feature would probably help open up some of these games. I mean, Jurassic Park's not on here, but possibly even Godzilla. Might that be a long time, wouldn't it? I guess a co-op, that would be a long game. Co-op mode on Godzilla, particularly if you both had 3 balls. And you were getting extra balls as well. I think you're looking at an hour-long game there. So maybe not. But I just think there's some that could benefit from that coding, which leads us to the final bit of the video. As I say, it's still 17 minutes as it is now, and it'll probably be well over 20 minutes by the time we've finished. Where is this going to go? What I always do with this game is I look for roughly whereabouts it's going to go, and then if I'm thinking whether it goes above or below a certain game, I ask myself one simple question, and this question takes money out of the equation. Otherwise, you just end up wondering, what's the most expensive game? I don't care. Cost, I don't care about. I'm trying to get down to which game I would have above another. So the question would be, if somebody was going to lend me a game for a period of time, what would I choose? So I'm already looking, sorry Gav, I'm already looking above Champion Pub, which I love. And I just want to stress this point. But from World Cup Soccer upwards, we're looking at games I really, really like. So I can't say anything bad about those games there. I'd probably have any of those games back, I really would. And Champion Pub is a real favourite of mine. But I would have TNA over Champion Pub. And I think, realistically, I can't realistically put it above Star Trek Next Generation, because I'm actually thinking about it now, which one would I much rather have for a period of time? I would probably say Star Trek Next Generation. If this was my son's list, it would be going up there somewhere. But it's not my son's list. He's at school at the moment. It's my list. So it really comes down to whether or not it's better, it's above Foo Fighters or not. And that's a tough one, because they are very different games, but they share in their innovation in many respects. And I never do these videos, I never approach these videos with a preconceived idea. I never start recording thinking I know where it's going to go. What you're seeing now is me trying to decide where it goes. And this is subject to change, because I moved Godzilla the other day, and I moved Ghostbusters. the other day, and I will move games again. But I think at the moment, if I was going to choose a game, and you were to say to me, you can have Foo Fighters or TNA, I would take TNA. And for that reason, it's going to go. I've created a little bit of space. It goes in there. Now, I am sorry that this is a slightly different size magnet. They said it in jest. Somebody did say on the Star Trek video that can I please space out my magnets, because I think they were saying it's not helping. They want a sort of uniformity to it. It's ruining their OCD or whatever. I do understand and I do get it, but as you might notice here, I'm already at the bottom of the screen. There are other things. I don't know if I can. I'll probably muck the video up by doing this, but hopefully you can see that there. Already at the bottom of the screen. So I think I've even mucked the camera up there. Come on, come down a little bit. There you go. One more. That's it. I am sorry, but these are. Look, I buy these magnets. I've got a big roll of. Let me just show you this. I've got a big roll of magnet here, which comes on this huge roll. And I basically cut it up and I make strips out of it. I had a little bit left TNA. It could have been worse. It could have gone on that bit. And so yeah, it's the only way I'm going to be able to populate this with. Well, I say 50 games. I'm going to have a count up soon and work out how many are going to go on this list. But there you go, just a very, very quick fire video. We now have a spooky game on there. If that is really ruining if that's really annoying you, that I will cut a longer strip and then I'll actually write out the full name, which of course is Total Nuclear Annihilation.